Sexier fried chicken, smoother whiskey, more polished country music, and now a more exciting sports experience with DraftKings Sportsbook. We're here, we're legal, and to improve your sign-up, we're giving you a deposit bonus up to $1,000. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code, and make it rain.
Every day, people across the Tennessee Valley are making a difference, changing lives in big ways and small, impacting our community and beyond in the best ways. I'm Lori Mitchell, and every Friday on Channel 3, we bring you their stories.
Start your Saturday and Sunday with Eyewitness News Weekend Today.
Welcome back. Our tour of East Ridge about halfway through, and what fun we are having now. Melanie Coakley and her husband Steve have welcomed us into Ready, Set, Sew, their business that they've had here on Ringgold Road for a number of years in East Ridge. Good to see you.
Thanks, Julie. Good to have you.
I will tell you, I'm a little bit intimidated.
Oh, don't be.
And here's why I'm intimidated. You walk into Melanie's store and you're surrounded by all these beautiful fabrics. Many people, as we'll talk about, have picked up the hobby of sewing. In COVID, this has been prime time for it.
Oh, yeah. What else do you do when you're at home?
What they might not know, Melanie, when they come in and begin talking to your sweet face, is the expertise that you bring to it. You travel the country educating people.
Yes. I've had that pleasure for quite some time, and prior to COVID, I would get on a plane and head to the West Coast or head up north or down to Florida or Texas or Colorado, and I would share my knowledge of embroidery and help women or empower women to actually set up embroidery businesses.
Okay, you mentioned the embroidery. So for people who've been in the area a long time, you're probably yelling at me right now saying, wait a minute, before it became Ready, Set, Sew, the business was called
Embroidery FX.
Okay.
And it's still called Embroidery FX.
So we're in the front part of the store,
Yes.
which is Ready, Set, Sew. In the back is where you're still doing the embroidery work.
Yes, so we've been doing embroidery for 37 years, and that's the meat of the business. We do a lot of corporate logos and just mass production of embroidery.
This is the perfect time to fit in this fun little nugget. So Melanie was telling me that you were on the original committee to revitalize East Ridge, right?
Yes. I was the first president of the East Ridge Revitalization Program.
And
this was before liquor by the drink and all that stuff. So it's been amazing to be a part of that, you know, and it was a long time in the coming, but to be able to go to a nice restaurant, now I don't drink, but to be able to go to a nice restaurant and sit down, have a nice meal, and it's just awesome to see the face of East Ridge change like it has. And to have been there from the very beginning, you know, it's just incredible.
Well, and you mentioned the embroidery, so you and your husband used to go down to Camp Jordan, where we just were.
Yes.
They had a hot air balloon festival.
We actually created the hot air balloon festival. We did it for 3 years. We learned that rain is not good in October. So, but yes, we did the hot air balloon festival, and we'd bring in about 18 to 25 hot air balloons.
And do the embroidery work.
And we did all the embroidery work for the balloonists.
Okay, so this is why I told you it's a little bit intimidating, because your knowledge is vast. She jokingly said to me, okay, Julie, for you, we'll start with a pillowcase. You do have a lot of beginners who come through the door, and so you have classes to help them learn how to do it.
Well, everybody has to start somewhere. You know, you don't get on a bike and do a 1,000-mile journey. You have to learn how to pedal. So it's the same way with sewing. You have to learn about stitches and machines and how to thread a machine. But that's the nice thing about this is I have, in all my years, have never been bored with what I do because it reaches every genre that anybody could think about, from making a pillowcase to artisans who come in and use fabric as their medium.
Okay, there is so much in her head right now that I know you're having a hard time thinking.
Picking out what I want to talk about.
Where do I want to focus? So we'll be delicate here. There's going to be a baby boom, probably.
Oh, yes.
In 2021.
I know, my daughter's floating around here.
Her daughter is included
She's
in that
due in
category.
January.
So you do have a lot of things here for people to begin thinking about. You have those cute little pat cake books.
Oh, yeah, it's hanging right behind you there. And so whether you're a new mother, or whether you're just looking for something to do as far as quilting or embroidery, or we even have machines that actually replicate hand stitching. You know, so when I look around the room and I see a computerized quilting machine, you know, I think about my grandmother's quilting frame, which was wooden, that in order for them to quilt, they had to bring it down from the ceiling. And then when they weren't using it, they had to raise it up so that it wasn't in their way.
Right.
And ladies would just gather around that quilting frame and quilt, and like we're doing, they would talk and share stories. And
So, okay, on the quilting theme for a minute, because it can be kind of a lost art. It could easily become one if we aren't careful. Sewing in general, a lot of young people today used to not know how to. They've kind of gotten into it
Right.
of late. So you have coming up actually November 17th, a cute little class to do a Christmas quilt, right?
yes, yes. It's awesome to learn just your basics and at the same time have a fairly large project that you've finished and something that you're very proud of. When people see that you've made something, they're amazed. I mean, if they've not sewn before especially, because to take a piece of fabric and to turn it into something that is totally unique with totally your style of sewing, and have something that you can either give to somebody or sell, it's just incredible.
So at our house, we still hang stockings that I made 23 years ago when our first daughter was a baby, or on the way to be born, and I made them for everybody.
Right.
So mine are hand sewn and they're beginning to fall apart, but we won't go there. You've got oodles and oodles of fabrics to choose from, including, for the sports lover out there, all the SEC teams.
Everything. And we are seeing a big surge in men that are sewing. So, you know, sometimes we'll get caught up in the gender thing, and just know that now sewing is for everybody. If you want to recover a boat cushion, you know, a life
can do
preserver, which I've done because we're boaters as well, and I had these old cushions that needed, you know, they've got grungy, and their life's, you know, it's what you throw when somebody's drowning.
Right.
And they just get kind of nasty in the hull of a boat. And so to take the cover off of that and embroider the name of the boat on it and turn it into something that you proudly display now on the front porch of the boat, on the boat, on the front of the boat, it's incredible because people walk by and go, "Where'd you get those?"
So I want to touch on that a little bit, because you are a believer, rightly so, that anyone can apply the art of sewing to any part of their life, even if it's just sewing on a button.
Yes.
You did say that you're very passionate about it, and you wanted to point out the fact that it's more than just quilting, it's more than just the pillowcase.
Yes.
It can also be memories made. And so you had a great experience with your daughter, who chose to wear your wedding dress when she got married.
Yes.
And she used your dress.
She did. She, well, years ago, we've been married, I don't even want to tell you how long we've been married, 37 years. Anyway, and so when I got married, I made my dress, not thinking that I would have a daughter who is going to have a birthday on the 7th, that she would even consider wearing my dress. But the newspaper had come out at that time and had done an article on me. And for whatever reason, that it had been framed. Somebody framed it. I think it was Brenda Bailey, one of the county commissioners, framed it and sent it to me. And so I just hung, you know, it was hung around the house, different sections. And she said, "Mom, I've always seen this floating around. I want to wear your dress." And I'm like, "Really?" Now, of course, back then, Princess Di was the big, you know, poofy sleeves and all that stuff. So I kind of redid it, and she wore my dress. And it was just absolutely incredible to think that something I made that 37 years ago is now an heirloom.
Right. And could be worn again. Who knows?
Yes. Who
You'll
knows?
find out
She's
when the
having a
baby
little
comes.
girl.
When the baby comes in
Yes,
January.
she's having a little girl.
So to get people into Ready, Set, Sew, I want to touch on two things.
Yes.
One, the classroom, you revamped it. It's socially distant. People are safe to come in here.
Yes,
You cap it at 10 people.
We have a large classroom, so we can accommodate 10 people with a 6-foot distance.
Okay. Also, you realized there was a real rush on sewing machines.
Oh,
you
yes.
do what you can to help people pre-order. So if you're wanting to
Yes.
give one as a gift this Christmas season, pre-order it, and then hopefully you can cross your fingers.
Yes, there is a shortage of sewing machines across the country because women are sewing, men are sewing, kids are sewing. We did a YouTube video when the mask when we decided we needed to teach people how to make masks. So we did a mask video, I think right after we learned about COVID, and that video has had almost 4 million hits.
Wow.
That's a lot of hits for making a mask. So we kind of cover everything. And people are at home sewing.
And they're happy for you to come in, call in with your questions. Your imagination will begin to flow.
Yes.
Once you begin to pick up that fabric and begin to sew with whatever you choose to create. And know that you're celebrating Eastridge with the woman who was the first president of the Revitalization Committee.
Yes.
Melanie, thanks for the tour.
Julie, thanks for coming in. We always love talking about sewing.
We're back after this.
Ashley Home Store's Black Friday mattress sale is going on now. Get 0% interest for 8 years on top bedding brands.